Welcome to GAC Time. We discuss all things General Hospital. So put your feet up, get your teacups, get your snacks, and let's begin. General Hospital Daily Recap for Friday, May 1st, 2026. Guys, let's see what our favorite bunch of characters are up to. Sonny is so reckless, right? Sonny, Brennan is in there asking Sonny all these questions and stuff about Carly. And then Sonny was kind of like, if she is cheating, he said, listen, I'm not gonna hold that against her. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Basically, he just want Carly away from Brennan, right? So Brennan is just you could see slowly he got steam coming out of his head because hit the thought of Carly cheating is just running him crazy. So Sonny and him continued that conversation and got on to Jason. So, he told Sonny information about Jason. But Brennan, I guess he's thinking about it, but he doesn't want to believe that Carly's cheating. But then in the back of his brain, I think he believes that she's cheating. Anyway, after that, he left there and he went over to Carly's house. So if you listen to any of my other videos, you know I love Carly and Valentine together. So these scenes with Carly and Valentine were great. So Carly brought the food over so Valentine can cook, right? Valentine just screamed because he's like, okay, so do I actually get to eat any of this food that I'm preparing, or are you gonna just send me up away like a servant? So Carly's just looking at him like he's crazy. So anyway, Carly, he's making this meal and they're discussing this whole thing, and then all of a sudden, Carly brought up that whole conversation about how he called out to Anna to check in on Anna and how this was dangerous. So him and Carly got into this kind of not really an argument, but they both got mad at each other because she's just like, you putting I want to be here for my daughter, you putting my life on the line, stuff like that. So Valentine went upstairs because he's mad at Carly, and then Carly is downstairs and she's breaking dishes and stuff like that. Valentine's upstairs, he's breaking stuff and kicking doors and stuff like that. So eventually Carly goes upstairs. Here goes the thing. She knows her house, like Valentine said, is like Grand Central Station. She leave the two glasses, she got the steak sitting there, all this stuff and plates on the floor. She got so many people in there coming through that house for her to be leaving the house like that. But anyway, she went upstairs to check in on Valentine, opened the door. Valentine was getting ready to check on her. And here they go, getting ready for their sexy time. I was like, finally, it's been months. Let's get this going, right? So, they are just so hot together. Like the steam that comes up with them. Valentine is grabbing her. He put his finger on her mouth and took her into the room. And Carly was just like, you know what, she's scared. I was like, okay, I guess she's scared because she's catching feelings for Valentine. I could see her being worried about that. But he said he's scared too. Mm-mm-mm. So they get ready for their sexy time, and Brennan comes in. Brennan sees the two cups. He sees this food. He's going upstairs. This man looked like he can ready to ball out crying. He opens the door and Carly's in there. She got the sheet on because they don't finish up their stuff. And she's like, what are you doing here? He's like, where is he? I'm like, oh my gosh, no. Can people just leave these two alone for 2 minutes? But anyway, he doesn't know it's Valentine yet. I hope he does not find out it's Valentine. But Carly got some explaining to do. I feel like she might be helping Valentine clean up a body because he might have to fight this man. I could see him going to kill Valentine once he finds out it's him. Oh my goodness. We shall see what happens with this. But guys, they are hot and steamy together. I love Valentine and Carly. Jordan was telling Curtis he should go to the Savoy because the Savoy, they're gonna have the genie from Aladdin. He's coming up to perform at the Savoy. That was quick because I thought it would take a few minutes. His name is like Michael James Scott, I think. And he's hesitant. Curtis is hesitant because he's like he don't want to leave Jordan there by herself. And she's like, no, no, Trina's looking for you. You should go, right? So he did go. He went off. Jordan was feeling sad, and then Brick came in. So as much as Brick kind of I don't mind Brick, but sometimes he could be corny. But it seemed like he was the come up, or should say the thing that Jordan needed at the time. He kind of lifted her spirits, I should say. And he was telling her some wild story about some diplomat he had to save or something like that. And Jordan got a kick out of that story. So it was good that she got the company that came in. The one thing I could say, Brick didn't care nothing about them scars on her face. He was still trying to get Jordan to come with him somewhere. You know, he's always offering Jordan to come over or do something or go on some vacation or whatever. And Jordan was like, "No, I'm with Curtis." So he was like, "Well, the invitation is open." So, as much as Jordan got the scars on her face, she needs to realize that, people still like her for who she is and stuff like that. They are really showing these scars. They are really prominent. So that's why I'm just like, why don't Curtis call Michael and tell him to help this woman out? I don't even understand that part, but whatever. Anyway, Jordan's mood seemed to be lifted when Brick came, so that was a good thing. Trina was trying to get Josh to come to the Savoy to see the performance, and she had this stupid excuse about so much. She had to study, and she's almost there, and she can't come. But if she could get her studying done, then she'll come. She is so wrapped up in this WSB world, she cannot enjoy her life. And you know what? When she really sits back and think about it and think about what she's doing, she's going to regret this part because the stuff that she's doing is not helping anybody. So, but anyway, Trina took her for her word and said, "Well, I hope you be able to come, and don't miss the performance." She need to take some time for herself away from this WSB and off somewhere in the mountains and meditate because this is silly that she's doing this. She's missing her life. So we'll see if Josh actually makes it to the performance. Right now, don't seem like she going. She told me she got something to do, something, whatever. So everybody was at the Savoy to see the performance of Genie from Aladdin, right? He's coming there, and we had some Emma and Gio, Brooklyn, Chase, Kai and Trina, Cody, Molly. It was a bunch of folks there, right? So Emma and Gio is funny. They was just thinking about their time in New York, and then Gio brought up again how he was able to play for Broadway and how all of his aunts was there. So it was Emma says, how many blood relation aunts you have? He said, well, do you know, like half of them are my aunts, but they're all my aunts, right? So she was just like, but by blood, he was just like, no, but they're all aunties, right? So that's how it goes in that community. Emma needs to get used to that. Trying Kai and Trina, Trina was telling Kai that and Gio and Emma that Brooklyn has said that she can help her become a professional singer. So Trina's on the fence. She's like, that's not really what she wants to do, but they're trying to encourage her to do it because they're saying how great her voice is. Maybe Trina will take Brooklyn up on it. I know Tracy was like, Brooklyn is doing this because she feels guilty. But maybe not. I mean, Trina does have a nice voice. Maybe she can get something going. Brooklyn feels extremely guilty. She keeps hearing people talk about this accident and she's just trying to focus on the performance and stuff like that. But I don't know. And then Gio was talking to Brooklyn and he was happy that she was there. And Brooklyn kind of was reminiscing because she remembered when he was playing on Broadway and how much she enjoyed his performance. And she was happy that she was there to share that experience. So it looks like they're all going to have a good time at the Savoy. So Molly was talking to Cody, and you know what? The reason why I'm bringing this up, I forgot. I don't, not that I forgot that she was married to TJ, but TJ's mom is Jordan, and she was just like, she feels so bad for what happened with Jordan, but she feels uncomfortable going in there because after their TJ and her broke up, it seemed like their relationship got a little strained. But still, and yet, this lady, TJ and her were together for a long time. Molly should have been up in there to go check in on Jordan. So I thought that was a little strange. When she said that, it kind of jogged my memory. I'm like, yeah, then why wouldn't you go check up on her? I think TJ and her together, what, 10 years or something like that? It was a long time. So, yeah, she should go in there and check. But later on, Cody was talking to Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is kind of, she's feeling some kind of way. She's hearing everybody talk about this accident, and she knows she may have been involved somehow. And Cody noticed her demeanor change. So Cody was like, "You got that look on your face from camp, like when she was pregnant with Gia." And he was like, "But if you ever need me, you can come and talk to me." So maybe she'll confide in Cody and, bring up what really happened. Maybe Cody can help her narrow down, because I still don't think it's Brooklyn that had anything to do with that accident, but we shall see. Brooklyn saw Curtis and she was like, if there's anything that we can do, about Jordan and stuff like that, please let us know. And Curtis started talking about how, no, Chase is doing great because he's helping, PCPD is helping find out who this other driver is. And then he started going into that whole thing about, I think Chase did say the person who did it wasn't responsible, but they were like, yeah, but the person could have stopped because Jordan was in the car for so long, they could have probably helped to get her out. Listen, I'm not even going to a whole long rant about this. I told you guys how I feel about this whole accident thing. Um, yeah. So Brooklyn is feeling really bad, right? So I'm sure Brooklyn eventually is just going to confess because I don't think she's going to be able to hold this in too much longer. Fake Nathan wants to go tell what Britt told, because Britt told him straight up that Jocelyn's a WSB agent. And he wants to go tell Sidwell and Cullum, right? But Britt is like, no, you can't tell them because they will get rid of her. And so he was like, don't do that. So hopefully he doesn't do that because he's looking like, well, you know what? I'm going to make sure that she doesn't know anything about who I am, who, figure out who he really is. So Britt was like, she told him the whole thing so that he can keep up his story better because he getting a little lackadaisy with this. And she's just like, you got to keep up this Nathan persona better than what you've been doing. So after that, he actually went over to Josh's apartment. So before Nathan arrived, Josh had some plans. She had a bag out. Did anybody check that she had duct tape on the table? She called and pretended like she was finding out some reservation for Nina because she wanted to see if Nina was in the office, right? So then she was gonna call Nathan, but before she called Nathan, Nathan knocked on the door. So I'm like, what was she thinking about doing? She was gonna kidnap Nathan? Maybe she's gonna torture him until he told her who he was. I was just like, what is she doing? Anyway, Nathan knocks on the door. He starts telling her, he came in to check in on her because he thinks he wants to be her workout partner. So she was like, okay, but then she brought up that whole scenario that Nina told her about how Maxie and Nathan, that whole love thing, when they knew they was in love. And she brought up something, but she left out some detail that only Nathan would know. This Nathan, Cassius, whatever, he fell right into it. He was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I do remember that." So now Jocelyn knows that he's not Nathan, or she got some idea. Maybe he could have just claimed amnesia at this point. Remember, he's been gone for 7 years. He don't know what happened to him, but whatever. So Josh is like, okay, well, you know what? We can get a link up our schedules later. And she's trying to go for the door, and he grabbed her hand. So I think he getting ready to threaten her and tell her she better keep her mouth shut. That's what I hope he's going to do. Because Josh is just getting on my nerve with the storyline. But I already ranted about that, so I'm not going to go down that line. Guys, tell me what your favorite part about this episode was. You know what my favorite part was, right? Okay, anything with that Valentine Carly in that bedroom, thank you very much. And tell me what your least favorite part is. And guys, leave me a comment down in the comment section. I always love to hear from you guys. And have a great weekend and talk to you soon. Bye. To hit that bell notification and a like and subscribe because it really helps the channel. And thank you for joining us again at GHT Time. Till next time, bye.